more particularly the case with the YPs and the young professionals. They want to know how the money is going to be distributed and how it will impact them. So that starts with the youth and how they're impacting the youth. That circles back to our clients that have been successful and how those previous clients have then shared positive word of mouth with others who may be facing a situation themselves. Because if we have graduate families who are now, at their child's school play, and they hear that, Tommy's mom is sleeping in her car, well, they're going to be able to share the information that they learned about through Salvation Army, make a reference, and then we're continuing to be able to serve those families and individuals in Leeway and Dade County. So we have wonderful board support, which we look forward to leveraging in the future. We have the wonderful support of the mayor. And we also are just looking to grow our faith-based partners, grow our connections with local foundations, corporations, and specifically targeting who those philanthropic individuals are in Miami-Dade County. So myself being new to the role and our team growing, we're just excited about what the future looks like and making those connections, because it's all about the growth of the number of individuals we can serve.
And one of the ahas that they talked about for me was we talked about, and I don't know if one brought that up, but we talked about getting churches involved, not to give us money to help someone at the Salvation Army, but to give us money to help someone in their church. So we go to them and share with them the Pathway Hope program, and then say, if you got people in your church at Indiana, you can help us financially, and we'll help your people, not our people.
Yeah.
I mean, we really don't look at it as our people and their people, but they look at it. They look at it as, we're just giving you money to help someone else. So I thought that was a really great way to go after some churches to say, who do you have working in your church that we have a program that works, and let us show you. That's where we have the previous clients that we can show you the success of the program. And you want to take part of that.
Yeah.
It's your church from your part, not just for the song.
Powerful. I heard a lot in there about data and stories is what's going to accelerate or amplify the sense of urgency, as well as give the opportunities to say, here are some things that can be done. And then the other thing I heard you say was, you know that there are resources in the community, but collectively so far at your table, you don't know the right people in each of those yet. So part of what you yourselves have a sense of urgency about is discovering who are the high leverage contacts in different places. That sounds terrific. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
I'll just close with one thing. I didn't get to meet all of you. I came from Houston. And the item that became citywide focus in Houston for a while had to do with kids in the education system. And the person who brought it to the surface for the whole of the city was a sociologist who started doing an annual study of Houston. And after 30 years, his annual report said this: Houston is on the verge of becoming a third world city because our education system is not producing the kinds of students with enough educational foundation or character capable of qualifying for the jobs of the 21st century. So then the question was, is that okay? Is it okay that Houston's own kids are not going to qualify for jobs so that importing of laborer force is going to be the only way to fill the jobs of the fourth largest city in the United States? And that's what began to create urgency, but urgency didn't happen overnight. It was a series of conversations that kept the people in different levels and in all of those sectors that cross collaboration was required, began to ask the question, are we okay with this? And I was able to give a talk one time where I said, there was a recent documentary regarding education called Waiting for Superman. And it was getting kids into programs, right? And I said, while there are people out there appropriately looking for Superman, I'm looking for Papa. I want to find the people who say, I can't stand it no more. And because I can't stand it no more, I'm willing to engage as many people as necessary to be involved in the conversation. So I applaud you all, and I'm praying already for you to find the Papas.
A couple of things you said, well, everything you said is really critical. I want to comment on a couple of them. The group over here talking about the social costs. The unspoken and people aren't aware of how much homelessness is already costing. A good friend of mine, Larry James, started City Square in Dallas. It's worth a look. His biggest deal was just, Larry's mantra is, the cure for homelessness is to give people a home. I mean, what kind of crazy thinking is that? No, the cure for homelessness is warehousing them cots, and, holds them down with food and send them back out on the street. So Larry's helped over 2,000 people have a home. The last community opened, I was there the day that we opened it, 50 tiny homes right in Dallas, right near the Trinity River, near Deep Ellum and all that. And 50 tiny homes that the city of Dallas paid because it was going to be cheaper to build a home for $37,000 than it was to deal with homeless folks. I mean, the city got their money back in less than 2 years. And Larry had them, the management of the whole process. It was a gated community, but not to keep people out. You had to answer 2 questions to get in. Do you have a drug problem? If the answer is yes, then let's go, good. Well, let's go to the next question. Do you have a criminal record? Well, yes. Okay, you're our kind. I mean, it was a completely different, flip the narrative and do something for about, and every one of those homes was on wheels. They could move the whole community in a night if they could stay in. So I just thought it was great. Then the group here about reaching out to the faith community. The faith community, the church, is the largest bundler of social capital in any city. Helping the church unbundle that social capital and focus it on it. There is not one. I remember I saw the last space shuttle launch. I was in Orlando. I was leading a conference. Took everybody out to the pool area. I went down and came. I wasn't that close, but I can still see it. I've never seen the shuttle go on before. Some of you probably have. Maybe you've ridden on the shuttle. Or you're coming back from there. Yeah. Right. But when I saw that rocket, I was shocked. I just started crying because I thought a culture that could strap people to a wall and shoot them off and then bring them back. A culture that can do that could do anything and put its political will and social will to accomplish. And you can help call that party to get it done. Yeah. The whole 2 days we've been talking about, it feels longer than 2 days, I know. But the whole 2 days, we've been talking about collaborative leadership and building collaboration. I want to just remind us of some things. I'm not going to say a thing you don't know already, but as you move into your team planning for the rest of our time, just a few notes about collaboration that we want to keep in mind. First is that influence is personal, not just positional. This is the power of relationships and the criticalness of relationships. Character matters, how we treat people, all that stuff comes into play. Simply because someone has a rank or a title in an office or something doesn't necessarily mean they're a collaborative leader. Secondly, trust is the currency. Remember I told you yesterday about the Redwood City Literacy Coalition, and when they put out a piece of information but didn't contextualize it, and the school districts saw it as an attack on them. that trust, just like that, was evaporated. Took months to rebuild. I'm telling you, trust can evaporate with one mistake or whatever. You've got to you stand guard over trust. And if you drain that bank account, start writing it, don't let the sun set until you start rebuilding that trust. It is that critical. A third thing is communication, of course. If trust is a currency, communication is the lifeblood. People that are involved in your collaborative effort, when they lose that information or lose that sense of touch, they're gone. I mean, they check out on you because there's too much else that's tugging at them for their attention. You know this, but that's why I say you cannot, it will be impossible for you to over-communicate. I mean, you can just take it from there. So every conceivable way of getting your message of what it is going to be critical to your success. The fourth thing I would remind us of is that mutual accountability. It's got to be not just promoted, it's got to be practiced. And I don't mean the accountability of slapping people for misbehaving or falling asleep at meetings all over. But I mean, it's the kind of accountability where each person knows what's expected of them, and that we're willing to live up to our own expectations that others have. I mean, Drucker used to say the major distinguishing characteristic of an information worker is that they negotiate what's expected of them. In the old industrial age, here, show up, stand there, punch that button, and then punch the clock. No, the information, the knowledge worker, he would call it. The knowledge worker is, what can you expect from me? What can I expect from you? That's the world we're in. And so, but practicing it has to be, I mean, no one is immune. No one gets a pass. We all have to be under the same kind of accountability. And if there's a trust issue or say, oops is an okay word. Oops didn't mean sorry, didn't mean whatever. And then finally, maybe, we've got to address roadblocks, because there are some significant roadblocks. And actually, next time we'll have an in-depth conversation about that. Not that you don't know what they are already, but maybe some strategies to deal with some of the key roadblocks that as you go down this path. Fortunately, we'll be together soon. It won't be 3 months from now, so we'll pick up this conversation in just a matter of weeks, coming back in February, and we can identify some of these key things. I think I want to stop right there, Henry. I've heard all of me I want the team and everyone else here voting for that too. So what I wanted you to have the chance to do now is go into your final team session for our time together and determining what's next. Think about everything we've talked about. You've got the record of all the exercises with. What is it you're going to do when you leave here? What are the next key steps? Who's going to be responsible? What's the timeline? How will you know it's working? What notes do you need to make? What kinds of assignments? All of that's on a template that's on your table. Again, individual sheets, but we have the large sheet. We would love for you, 115, to have that one piece of paper, the large template, filled out and ready to go, so we can hear from you about what you're going to do when you leave here today, starting today. And lunch, I think, is it already out? This is a working lunch, so between now and 1:15, just as you are ready, you can go and get what you want. I mean, Salvation Army can't be beat on food. I'd say it's the best snacks God ever let me make. But if you'll add the big M&Ms with almond centers, I just really, I was just looking for that. I mean, all this is fine, but that one item, it was so messy. Go for it. Eat lunch when you want to. Pick your sandwich, pick somebody else's sandwich, and have fun at 1:15. We'll be around, of course, but 1:15 we'll be back together for a final report. Steve, you want to say something? Oh, I thought, okay. Any questions about any of that? Henry, did you fall over? I can't see you back there. Oh, okay. All right, go for it.